don't need it. I got all that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Couldn't find him. That's where he lived, but I couldn't find him.
Pardon?
There's 22 starting the fourth quarter.
They don't talk loud enough. I can't hear it. I can't hear that.
Anybody go to the game last Saturday?
I did.
Game? Did you go?
Oh my gosh.
Wow, I watched the end of it on television. Wow.
There was a who in there for sure. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I
I
thought.
think it's 75%, or was it more than that?
It was more.
Was it?
I would say more than 75%.
What's that whole 60?
I don't remember if it said the number or not, but it looked like it was 75%.
That's a whole 60,000, 70, something like that, yeah. I think they said it was the biggest crowd they've had for quite a while.
Oh, yeah, because we went to one earlier in the year and it was like. Oh, the first weekend was really good. Both weekends. You mean the one I was just at this weekend? No, because it's just 2 weekends.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Everyone could rise. Recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order.
Okay, Aaron, David, Lindsay, Chris,
Yep.
Tal,
Yes.
Shelby, Jeff,
Yes.
Bill.
Yep.
and Steve.
Yes.
Okay.
Next on the agenda is public comments. We typically read from the Open Meetings Act section here on public comments. Section 2.06G of the OMA gives the public the right to speak during governmental meetings. This section states that any person shall be permitted the opportunity to speak or to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the public body. All public bodies therefore must develop a procedural rule that allows the public to address the public body. While this amendment permits the public the opportunity to address public officials, it does not require that the public officials to engage in a debate or to make themselves available for abusive or harassing behavior by a member of the public, or to provide on-the-spot answers to the members of the public on topics that are raised by the public. I believe we have 5 minutes allocated for anyone that wants to speak, with a 30-minute total time for public comments. I ask if you do have any comments, please rise, identify yourself, and remain standing in that area of the facility. Yes, sir.
I will start. My name is John Bambanek. I'm guessing because of item 6, I'm primarily what you're going to be talking about in closed session. So to that end, I do have a settlement
I ask
offer.
that you stand over there, please. You can
I don't recognize that instruction. There's a settlement offer. You can pass that around the table. The settlement is basically, I'm of sound argument about the quo warrantos. The OMA violation is sound. We can litigate this, do depositions, do whatever. Or, you know, Aaron and David can re-resign and we'll call it a day and everybody does OMA training. I think we all know where the culture of corruption in this township emanates from. That's not primarily with this body, though it has tolerated it for some time. But that's okay. You know, we can help, at this point, we're just going to take over and clean up this mess. I have a petition for a special meeting. I'll put this on the table for the clerk to consider several items. Among others, a nepotism ordinance, an ordinance creating a website that would cure problems like this meeting agenda you take to the door that didn't have a date. That would be an OMA violation. That is an OMA violation because there's no date on it. There's no website to otherwise correct it. So instead of having these minor complaints of OMA handled, there should be an ordinance requiring a website and some other matters. You've got 14 to 45 days to schedule that meeting and look forward to a substantive discussion of how we can have an ethical and transparent township going forward. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
John Pratt, County Wasatch. First, are you the township supervisor?
Sir, I am not. He is not available tonight. He asked me to step in and run the meeting on his behalf.
You're the road commissioner?
No, sir. I'm a township trustee. My name is Jeff
So
Wood.
you're a trustee. Do you have an adopted public comment policy?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a written adopted public comment policy?
Honestly,
That's just a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
That's my last statement, which is a question. Do you have one?
Yeah.
Huh?
There is a policy that's been adopted, so,
Okay.
as far as I know, I believe the policy was adopted. And we can get a copy of it, for you.
Well, I don't need it tonight. I was
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah.
Thanks.
yes, sir.
Is the road commissioner here tonight?
Yes.
And who is that?
I'm sorry. Can you identify yourself?
Who is the road
I'm
commissioner?
asking, can you identify yourself, please?
Yeah, my name is Kirk Allen.
Kirk Allen. Okay. Yes, his name is Chris Dennis, and he is president of the table.
All right, I want to address most of my comments in that regard, but before I do, you had read from what you attributed to be the Open Meetings Act. I think what you read was out of a guidebook. It was not out of state law, because some of the things that are in there are not accurate with what's in the state law. So I would encourage focusing on what the state law says in that regard, because the public comment policy, it's encouraged, but it's not mandated. I know, I think the word in there you mentioned was shall, but all that aside, without an adopted public comment policy, it's hard to enforce a time limit restriction. And if it's been adopted, great, we'll ask for a copy of it, and the attorney's already acknowledged he would get us a copy. But when you don't know if you have one, it's virtually impossible to enforce rules to restrict people's comments. Our goal is openness and transparency. Our organization is a local government accountability organization. We do deep dives in all kinds of different units of local government. I'm a former township supervisor, so I'm very familiar with the whole operations of the township. But some of the things that we have seen, and we will be doing a deeper dive based on some information we've obtained. The statement of economic interest for your road commissioner doesn't list anything in relation to his doing business with other units of government, which a company he owns, I believe it's Central Culvert and Tile Yard, does businesses with other townships, throughout central Illinois. But it's not listed on his statement of economic interest. That's a concern, because that's failure to be transparent in that regard. according to the Statement of Economic Interest rules, that potentially carries a criminal offense. For the township board, since you guys approve the bills and pay the bills, I've looked at hundreds of invoices coming out of the city of Jefferson City, Missouri for Metal Culverts Incorporated. There seems to be hundreds of thousands of dollars over many years of materials that the invoices reflect are being shipped directly to his place of business. Which raises the question, why would road district purchases have their culverts being shipped to his private business? And where did those 450 plus culverts go within this township if they were for this township? If they weren't for this township, why are they not in this township? And I would hope the board does a serious deep dive in and get answers to that question, because I can assure you, when we finish with our forensic analysis of everything, we're going to get to the bottom of it, and we're going to expose exactly where all of them went, to include a total number of culverts within this township to show the discrepancy. There's a whole lot of them that have been purchased that aren't here. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
All right, I'd like to talk about harassment and stalking by township employees and township officials. I will use the same language that Cherie, Chris's wife, states in her stalking complaint against Brian and myself, but I will give you factual dates. On or around June 20th, Dave Parsons went to Corner FS in Mahomet and walked in the shop. He found the owner of the shop and went to him and said, "Congratulations, Clay." Clay responded by saying, "For what?" "For kicking Chad Coit out of your establishment." Clay responded by saying, "I never kicked Chad out of here. I don't know what you're talking about." Dave finally left. The funny thing was, Dave wasn't there doing any business. He just stopped by to tell him that and spread lies. After several friends told me what happened, I spoke to Clay and he confirmed the conversation. This is harassment by a government official. I confronted Dave Parsons on exactly July 1st at 1 p.m. He said he didn't want to argue and backpedaled and dodged the subject. So on around the 20th of June, Dave Parsons called Erica Kennedy. Dave called and left her a message asking her to call him. She returned his call. He said he was calling her because she liked a Facebook post that Brian Anderson commented on. He thought it was his job to inform her that Brian had stalking charges against him and that Brian could not be trusted. This is harassment by a public official. My question is, was Dave representing the township or himself whenever he went out of your way to make these comments? Now to Mrs. Donuts. She's not here, but I'll state it anyway. I will say that her stalking lawsuit against Brian and myself is nothing but a lie. Here's the best lie. On approximately March 22nd, Brian and myself habitually were taking pictures of herself when she drove by my house going to work. It caused her such distress that mid-April, a month later, she started taking a different route to work, which is about 4.5 miles out of her way. This is a total lie, and the funny thing is that it took her a month to change her route. But that also goes with my timeline of events that we've been saying. I'm lucky to see her at the township shed once a month. She was probably there because it was mid-month, getting a few minutes of pulling receipts up and getting stuff together for the meeting, as I would guess. The second of the best lie is on or about May 20th. Brian and myself were habitually driving cars, and one time we were following each other, taking pictures of her mowing her grass. She sought refuge in the house and now hires someone to mow her grass. Funny thing is, I've never seen her outside her house unless she's driving down her lane. I've never seen her mow her grass anywhere. Also, I've not taken any pictures of her. I never see her except when it's here at court or maybe a restaurant, or when she waits in her lane and pulls out in front of me and drives 20 miles an hour. One could only assume that she's trying to take a picture of me following her. The funny thing is that the 3 times this has happened recently, there were people in my vehicles that were witnesses. The lawsuit is harassment by a public employee. I would like to see the canceled check payments from her made to the township law firm that sends 2 attorneys to Champaign to lie to the courts. And now Aaron Wheeler, and if Sharif was here, she should take note of this. This is how you handle a stalker. On September 15th at 1:39 p.m., Aaron Wheeler stalked me when he followed me from Los Serapes parking lot, where I saw him pull out and follow myself down Eastwood Drive, then down 47 South, then 150 East, then Oak Creek Road, then Cross Creek Road, and then Patton Drive, where I pulled over and proceeded to confront Aaron Wheeler and asking him why he was following me. Keep in mind, I had 2 witnesses with me. So he said he wasn't taking the pictures of me. He lied to me and the police, stating this, that he was not following me or taking pictures. During our conversation, he admitted to me this wasn't a good idea. I responded by saying, do you think? I also told him this was out of the playbook that Sharif has made up, but the truth is she's making the whole thing up and lying. I proceeded to tell him I wanted a police report. This was going to be documented, period. This is harassment by a public official, and I have the reports to show you.
35 minutes is up also.
You don't have a policy that you do.
There's no policy on that. Thanks, Tom, for your help. Anybody else wants copies of this, they can ask me for them, I'll give them to you.
I like copies. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Moving along. Bills. Road district bills first.
Okay, so for this one, do you have to motion or do they just sign? Oh, okay.
Everyone's had an opportunity to review the road district bills.
Yes.
You have a motion to approve? So moved. Second?
Okay. About, so, Jeff,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Tal,
Yes.
okay?
Next is township fund bills. Everyone had an opportunity to review those. Any questions about those at all? Motion to approve.
Those are the funds for the road district.
Motion to approve. Motion to town fund. Second?
Second.
All right. Okay, Jeff,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Tal.
Yes.
And the last would be cemetery fund bills. Everyone's had an opportunity to review those. Any questions about cemetery fund bills? Need a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Second?
Chairman, point of order.
Yes, sir.
If you could, get a legal opinion from your attorney. Section 2E of the Open Meetings Act specifically requires you to recite the sufficient information to inform the public the action you're taking. And simply approving bills is insufficient information to tell the public what bills you're approving. Thank you.
Bills are listed as road district bills, town fund bills, and cemetery fund bills.
It's too generic.
You can file a complaint.
Be happy to, but that racks up the legal bill.
Be happy to discuss it with you after the meeting.
Are you buying the drinks?
No.
On the cemetery fund bills, you have a motion and a second, is that correct?
Jeff,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Tal.
Yes.
Okay, so, minutes of the regular meeting that was scheduled on September the 14th, 2022. So everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes. Any questions about that? Any edits or amendments to the minutes? Hearing none, a motion to approve.
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, for the vote, Jeff,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Item 6 we will not be using tonight. We'll move on to item 7, new business. Any new business?
So we're gonna table 6 till next meeting, is that what you're saying?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Any new business?
Yeah, actually, I think that's what I was gonna interject on that. So, this is going to be, this will be my last meeting as I'm gonna turn my resignation in, as we are in the process of selling our home, we're gonna relocate. So I wanted to go ahead and get that, stated here this evening, and so that for the, I guess for the next meeting, the township can prepare to look for somebody over the next month or so. So, I've got my resignation letter with me, so I've already emailed something on to the supervisor, township supervisor, but I wanted to officially let all of you know that here this evening, so.
Okay, thank you.
We'll need to put that on the agenda for the next meeting to accept his resignation.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any old business as we discussed?
Thank you.
Highway Commissioners report.
Don't have much, just getting ready for winter, it'll be here before you know it.
Okay. Cemetery report. Anything? Assessors report.
No.
Supervisors report. Probably not tonight. Board comments. Tom, thank you for your service. Honored to work with you.
Won't be
Missed.
long with you, but,
Yeah, we're very long, but you'll be missed.
yeah, thank you.
Any other board comments? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So,
Your motion?
second, yes.
All right.
All right. Jeff,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
You go first, Jeff, you. and then you. All right.
All right. We're adjourned.
They got a copy of the agenda. If we need to